Hello guys, my name is Alex and I live in Boston in the United States. I study here in college, but I've never been great at making friends. I tend to be pretty lonely. I live here with my parents and I find it hard to make friends. My dad really understands me, but I just can't seem to connect with anyone. You know how some people are scared of crowds? They turn away from places where there are too many people. Well, I'm one of them. I did make a few friends in college, but slowly those friendships fell apart. There were several reasons for this. The first reason was that some kids from my childhood class who used to study with me had bullied me a lot. They came to this same college, and because of them, I was probably scared to make new friends. I'm a little overweight, so they used to make a lot of fun of me. Wherever I went, they would bother me. I could never get a girlfriend because they would always harass me, insult me, and all the kids in class would laugh at me. My entire childhood went by like that. There was this gang of 4 or 5 kids that followed me all the way to college. If I tried to fight back, they would gang up on me. Whenever I tried to befriend someone, they would tell them stories from my childhood and demotivate me so much that I would start distancing myself from that person. That's the main reason why I'm so alone now. That was the first reason. Now let me tell you the second reason. In college, everyone seemed to love smoking and drinking. So even the people who were alone didn't become my friends because I absolutely don't like smoking or drinking. I don't go to parties. I prefer to study at night. I'm not even a top student. It takes me a longer time to remember things. I'd say I'm below average. I see myself that way. It was the month of December. As Christmas got closer, everyone was preparing for parties, talking about how all the friends would get together and go out somewhere. I had no friends. I was really depressed. I would just sit at home and my mom would tell me, "Go to your friends. These are days for fun. When you get a job, no one will have time for you." She said this with a smile, but how could I explain it to her? I didn't have any friends, and even when I got a job, I wouldn't be able to make any. I'd still be alone. That's why I loved wandering around alone. Boston has many old areas where I love to go. The old shops, the old books lying around, vintage posters, taking photos in historic places. I really love that. I used to think, I might not have friends, but these walls, these houses, they will never say no to me. No matter how long I stand near them, they won't make fun of me. So I used to go there, take pictures, and try to live a peaceful life for hours. One day, I was sitting in one of these old areas near an abandoned house that had been closed for years. A guy walked past with his girlfriend who was running towards him from a distance. He took a gift out of his pocket and gave it to his girlfriend. Seeing that made me even more depressed. I don't even have a girlfriend. I don't have any friends. At Christmas, everyone gives gifts to each other. No one ever gives me a gift. What should I do? Life is so unfair. Tears started welling up in my eyes. Just then, a breeze blew and a flyer landed in my hand. With nothing else to do and plenty of time, I started reading it. It said, "The great mystical gift. No Santa for you? We will arrange a Santa for you. You will receive the great mystical gift." I smiled. Well, if no one is giving me a gift, let me try filling out my name and address on this website. Maybe someone will send me a gift from here. It would be the first time anyone ever sent me a gift. I headed straight home. I was walking home, looking around, the disappointment clear in my eyes. When I got home, my mom welcomed me. "Did you have a good time at the party with your friends?" I forced a smile and said, "Yeah, my friends were being a bit too much, so I came back early." Mom was so happy that I was spending time with friends. But how could I tell her that I was just wandering alone in those alleys? As soon as I reached my room, I opened my laptop. I had the flyer with me. I tried to find all the details, and there was a website link at the bottom. I typed the URL and the website opened. It was a weird website, constantly getting blocked. I even had to set a proxy to open it properly. It took almost 20 minutes. It kept shutting down, and I had to try different things, even a VPN. Somehow, I finally got it to open. Now I had to fill in the details. There was a scary picture of a Santa on it, with greetings written below and spaces to fill in my information. I filled in my name, address, and a few other small details, and I hit submit. A greeting message appeared saying, "You will receive a gift shortly." I started smiling. Will I really get a gift? Will it actually come to my house? Laughing, and I shut down my laptop and went to sleep. When I woke up in the morning, I was thinking about where to go today, where to spend the day. New Year's was also coming up, so I thought I'd make some preparations for that too. I had to tell my mom something. Just as I was about to leave, there was a parcel outside. It was a large wooden box with my name and address written on it. Had it arrived? Had the great mystical gift arrived so quickly? I just filled out the form last night. Laughing, I took the box to my room. My mom saw me carrying it but didn't say anything because she thought a friend must have sent me a gift. After that, I closed my room door. I managed to open the wooden box with great difficulty. When it opened, there were lots of papers inside. As I moved the papers aside, a strange Santa figurine was inside. It was a Santa with a terrifying face, and there was a key on its back. I turned the key, but the Santa didn't start. I was left wondering, what kind of gift is this? What use could it be to me? I set it aside and started rummaging through the papers at the bottom. There was a letter. The moment I opened it, I was shocked. It read, "This Santa grants your deepest wish. At 12 o'clock midnight, when this music plays, you must stand before this Santa and make your wish. It will make your deepest wish come true." I placed it on a table and started thinking, can this really happen? Well, someone did send me a gift. I went outside. My plan was to go wandering again. I wanted to go to a new place where new buildings were under construction. I thought I'd take pictures there, and it's also fun to walk along the nearby seashore. I wandered around alone the entire day. I kept thinking, I wish I had a friend to wander with me, to talk to me. It would be so nice. I spent the whole day thinking and wondering, and in the evening I returned. When I got home, my eyes fell on the Santa. I was very happy that someone had sent this gift for me. I sat on my bed, occasionally checking my phone, and kept looking at the Santa. I have a habit of reading books at night. I try to understand things by reading all my college books, and I was going to do the same that night. I spent 2-3 hours reading those books, and around 12 o'clock, I usually go to sleep. I was getting ready to sleep when music started playing from the Santa. The key I had turned in the morning started playing music on its own at exactly 12 o'clock. My ears perked up at the sound. The music wasn't loud enough to be heard outside the room, but it was enough to keep me from sleeping. I got up and stood, looking at the Santa. I got this strange gift, and it's 12 o'clock. It said whatever I wish for, I'll get. Let me try. What should I wish for? If I got $1,000, that would be great. I could get by really well. I stood in front of the Santa and said, I want $1,000. If you can give it, please make sure I have it by tomorrow. Saying this, I went back to bed. As soon as I sat on the bed, the music stopped. The key seemed to have wound down on its own, and I fell asleep smiling. I drifted off slowly and woke up at 5 a.m. I usually wake up at 8 o'clock, but today I was awake at 5 o'clock. I tried to go back to sleep, but I just couldn't. I kept tossing and turning until 8 o'clock, which is when I usually get up anyway. I generally go for a walk in the morning, and today, grumpy, I thought, since I can't sleep, I might as well go for a walk. As soon as I stepped outside, it was drizzling. It had gotten very cold here, so I took an umbrella and set out for the city. When it rains here, the streets get very waterlogged, which makes them slippery, and you can sometimes fall. There's a garden near our house, so I headed that way because the grass wouldn't be as slippery and I could walk comfortably. While walking there, my feet started hurting. As I reached a turn, I saw a wallet lying on the ground. I was shocked. When I picked it up, there was no picture, no card, but $1,000 inside. I looked around. Who could have dropped it? Maybe someone was jogging here, but how would I know? I waited for a while thinking the owner would come back for it, but because of the rain, no one came. The rain had started around 10 a.m., and by 10:30 I was still there. The owner would surely come to get it. but no one showed up. Now, I headed home with the wallet. What should I do? Leave the wallet with $1,000 there, or take it home? I chose the second option. After that, I placed the wallet outside my house so that if the owners saw it, they would ring the bell and ask how it got here and about the $1,000 inside. I waited all day, but no one rang the bell. And in the evening when I went out, someone had taken the empty wallet. Now I was even more surprised. I would probably never find its owner. I had to stay home until evening, but I had gotten the $1,000, just like I had asked for. With this $1,000, I could travel, eat so many things, and now the owner wasn't going to come asking for it anyway. After that, I went out in the evening. Where should I go? Before this, my dad didn't give me much money, and I valued it. I didn't party, I didn't buy expensive things, I didn't go to restaurants to eat, I ate cheap food. Now I had $1,000. What should I do? To celebrate, I went to a club. I spent a lot of time dancing with strangers there, then went to a restaurant and ate good food that I couldn't afford before. I spent about $300 and still had $700 left. I was thinking, New Year's is going to be so much better now. God had heard my prayer, and maybe the great mystical gift was giving me gifts like this. Thinking this, I returned home at 9 p.m. I told my mom, I partied with friends today. My mom was very happy that I was making new friends. I went to my room. I was pretty tired and fell asleep without even realizing it around 10 p.m. I woke up at 12 a.m. when the music started playing from that small Santa statue. I was completely bewildered about where the sound was coming from. It was coming from it, and it was 12 o'clock. It took me about 2 minutes to remember what to do. I recalled yesterday's memory. I got $1,000. Whatever I ask for, I get. I sat in front of the Santa again and started thinking, what should I ask for? I made a strange wish. I said, I really like a girl named Chloe. She's in our class. I like her, but she never even looks my way. I wish she would become my girlfriend, or that we could at least connect. That's my small wish. As soon as I went back to bed, the music stopped. Now I was thinking, can this wish really come true? No, it's not like I'll find this on the street. I'm so stupid. It was just luck that I asked for 1,000 and God gave it to me. I won't get everything like that. Thinking this, I fell asleep without even realizing it. Again, I woke up at 5 a.m. and tried to go back to sleep. Sleep just wouldn't come. I kept trying until 8 o'clock, then got up angry. Man, what's happening to me? My sleep schedule is ruined. I used to sleep until 8 o'clock and have such nice dreams. Now I wake up at 5 o'clock. Well, let me go for a walk. I left the house because it was city time. I didn't want to walk on the road because, due to yesterday's rain, the roads were still a bit wet and the ground in the park had absorbed the water. I could walk there. As soon as I reached the park, I saw several people jogging, and as I went past a few trees, Chloe was standing there, repeatedly pressing buttons on her phone. She looked very troubled. What is Chloe doing here? I wondered. I approached her. I didn't even have the courage to talk. No words would come out of my mouth, and she was busy with her phone. Then I got closer, and she recognized me immediately. Oh, you? You live around here, right? She said. I said, yeah, but your house isn't nearby, is it? I just ended up here while wandering, but my phone fell in the water. It won't turn on now, and I can't jog without listening to music. I feel kind of lonely. The words came out of my mouth on their own. No problem. Let's talk while we walk. I said that, and she started walking with me, smiling. We walked through the public park, talking, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I kept turning to look at her. Is this really the most beautiful girl in my class, walking and talking with me in this garden like this? We kept talking as we walked. We walked for about an hour, and then she said, I have to go home now. You know, in class, you never talk like this. You always sit alone. I always thought you just didn't like talking to people, so I never came and sat next to you. I also replied, everyone in class bothers me, so I keep my distance from everyone. Then Chloe said, oh, take down my number. I really enjoyed talking to you. I'll come sit with you in class from now on, and come for a walk in the mornings too. I'll call you tomorrow. Be here." Saying this, she took my number and headed home. I was walking home, and my feet weren't touching the ground. The girl I'd been longing to talk to for years had asked for my number herself. I headed straight home and was incredibly happy. And again, the thought crossed my mind. What about the Santa? Does it really grant what I ask for? Twice can't be a coincidence. I'll try again today. Did that Santa really come for my good luck? Who could have sent it? Since it was college break, I just sat on my bed, thinking about Chloe. At 12 o'clock, her phone call came. "What are you doing?" "I want to go out." After that, she called me to a specific spot. I went there. She loved to visit this place. It was like an old-fashioned fort. I had never been there before, and I had a great time exploring it with her. She was also very happy. She said, "I don't have any good friends either. Will you be my good friend?" I nodded, and she started sharing her secrets, indicating that she was starting to like me too. And I had liked her for so long. We wandered for 4 hours, and those 4 hours felt shorter than 5 minutes. I didn't even realize when they started and ended. And Chloe said, "It's the holidays right now. We can go out every day." I was very happy, and I returned home at 6 p.m. Now everything started to seem good to me. When you're alone, everything seems bad, and when you're with someone, everything starts to seem good. I was feeling that. I never made any friends, and the friend I have now is someone I've liked for a long time. Sitting on the bed, I was lost in thought. Not reading books, not using my phone, just thinking felt so enjoyable. I didn't even realize when it became 9 p.m. I started feeling a little sleepy because I was quite tired from all the walking. Around 9:15, I fell asleep. At 12 o'clock, the music started playing again. Suddenly, my eyes opened. As my mind started working, I remembered, this Santa plays music at 12 o'clock, and whatever I ask for, I get. At that time, I was really sleepy, so I asked for something I probably shouldn't have. I said, "I have no one. I want everyone I know from college to gather at the New Year's party tomorrow. I want to party with everyone." I made this wish and went to sleep. I hadn't even thought about what the consequences could be. The next morning, I again woke up at 5 a.m. Until 8 o'clock, I kept trying to sleep, but sleep wouldn't come. At 8 o'clock, I angrily got up and went out for a walk. Chloe was there. Chloe had been messaging me. Maybe my internet wasn't working. She was getting a little angry with me, but I quickly calmed her down. We walked there for 2 hours, and she told me about many of the things she liked, and I was starting to like her a lot too. Just listening to her made me so happy. She said, "There's a New Year's party tonight. Would you like to go with me?" I nodded. How could I refuse her? I said, "Yeah," and headed straight home, happy to tell my mom. I said, "Mom, I'm going to the New Year's party tonight with a friend." Mom was happy. "Oh, so you've started making good friends now? You've even started going to parties?" Smiling, I walked to my room. As soon as I entered my room, the Santa statue looked quite terrifying, but I felt so happy hugging it, as if it was giving me everything I asked for. And tonight, at the New Year's party, I wanted all my acquaintances to be there, everyone from my college. I wanted them to see me with Chloe. I spent the whole day preparing for the night's party. I kept thinking about what gift to give Chloe. The whole day passed by while I wandered around, and it became 6 p.m. I didn't even realize it. Chloe started calling me, and I only managed to pick out a small perfume for her as a gift. When I reached her place, she said, "The best party in our city is at that hotel. Great musicians perform there too. Let's go there. It'll be so much fun. We'll party all night." I was happy. I went there with her. Around 9 o'clock, I started noticing that all the kids from our college were arriving there. Even the ones who used to bully me. Everyone was coming there and laughing when they saw me. Chloe was with me, but they were all laughing at me as if wondering, what is Chloe doing with him? And how did he trick her? They kept coming over, bothering me. They were bothering Chloe too. We wanted to enjoy the New Year's party properly, but that night was the worst night of my life. Everyone was harassing me. I used to sit alone and never talk to anyone, and today everyone was coming up to me, humiliating me. Tears even welled up in my eyes, but she didn't let go of my hand. She liked me, but just like no other guy or girl in college liked me, everyone was humiliating me. Just before 12 o'clock, we left the place. I was crying, and Chloe's eyes were also wet. She was consoling me. Why do they bully you so much? Isn't there any way they could start liking you? My eyes lit up then. I said, I need to go home. I'm very upset. I need to go home. I dropped Chloe off and went straight home. It wasn't even 12 o'clock yet. I could still make a wish at 12 o'clock that would make my life easier. I started waiting for 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock, the music started playing from it. As soon as the music started, I said, I don't like being disliked in college. I want them all to start liking me. Create sympathy for me. I've always been a loser. Make them feel sympathy for me and like me. Don't let them bully me. After making this wish, I cried on my bed for a long time. I didn't even know when I fell asleep, and I woke up the next morning at 8 a.m. It was as if the 5 a.m. waking system had ended, and I was back to waking at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, our doorbell rang. I went to open the door, and one of my classmates was standing outside. It was the same guy who had humiliated me the most yesterday. He started talking to me very politely. Hey man, I'm sorry. I drank a bit too much yesterday, so I started saying wrong things about you. I shouldn't have said that. You'll forgive me, right? I want to be your friend. Look, I'll never say anything bad to you again. He was saying all this. His house was near ours, and he was the first to come and apologize to me in the morning. I was happy. Well, times are changing. I made a wish, and it's starting to come true. I closed the door and went to my room. I felt a little relieved. 5 minutes later, the bell rang again. I opened the door, and Jessica was standing outside. She also studies in our class and was the one saying the worst things about Chloe yesterday. She also started apologizing. Behind her was another guy from our class. He was also apologizing. They apologized and left. Now my heart felt much lighter. Maybe they were drunk, so they started saying bad things about me. I left the party, so they're showing sympathy. The Santa was working perfectly. My plan was working. Everyone was starting to like me now. They seemed to have sympathy for me. The bell rang 10 times. Every kid from my class came to offer me sympathy. But what had happened to everyone? Why were they all coming here overnight to show me sympathy and wanting to be friends with me? It took me about 2 hours to find the answer. As soon as I turned on the TV, there was news about an accident. It was an accident involving Chloe, and she had died in that accident. This shocked me so much that I was stunned. I sat in front of the TV and started crying. My mom tried to calm me down. Mom kept asking me, "Why are you crying?" I didn't want to tell my mom anything, but I went to Chloe's funeral. There was a huge crowd there. Many kids from our class were there. They kept hugging me and apologizing to me. I understood why they had come to my house to apologize. Yesterday they had humiliated me, humiliated Chloe, and when I dropped Chloe home, she seemed very shocked. After that, she had come outside and started wandering the streets, and that's when she was hit by a car and died. She had lost a lot of blood from her head. Everyone had heard the news, but I hadn't turned on the TV in the morning, so everyone was apologizing to me, and at Chloe's funeral, everyone was apologizing to me. Everyone who had humiliated us both felt as if they had done such a bad thing that it caused Chloe's death, and they were showing me sympathy. The Santa had done its job. Every kid from that class had come to apologize to me and talked about being friends with me. But the one I loved was no longer in this world. She was being buried there, and I couldn't stop the tears. I was crying. Chloe's mom was looking at me. She didn't know me. It had only been a few days since Chloe and I had become friends. She had started to like me, and I had started to like her too. I had built so many dreams. Everything was over. I returned home and cried a lot. I stayed locked in my room all day. Mom kept calling me to eat, but I didn't come out. It became night, and until 12 o'clock, I couldn't sleep. Sleep just wouldn't come. The future I had wished for had shattered, so I couldn't sleep. And at 12 o'clock, the music started playing from the Santa. My mind was clear. This thing gives everything that is asked of it. Even if it took Chloe away, it can give her back too. I sat in front of the Santa. The music was playing. I started asking, I want Chloe to come back to me. I don't want to lose her. Saying this, I sat on the bed and was crying. Then the music stopped. Now I was looking at the Santa. I was sitting on the bed thinking, will this really happen? It was 12:30. Someone started knocking on our front door. I came out of my room. Who is it? Knocking instead of ringing the bell. Mom called out, see who's outside. I went to the door and looked out. No one was visible. I opened the door completely, and Chloe was standing outside. But blood was dripping from Chloe's head. Her eyes were white, and her body was ice cold. That corpse was standing in front of me, and I fell back in fear. She started walking inside and went straight into my room. I quickly closed the door. Mom was asking, who was it? I said, I don't know. Probably a dog was scratching the door. Hearing this, Mom went to her room. But Chloe was sitting in my room. Was it Chloe's corpse, or was Chloe alive? I couldn't tell. I wanted to talk to her, and she also started responding. I asked, didn't you die? How are you here? She started speaking in a heavy, raspy voice. You asked for me to come back. I came back. With her voice, a terrible smell was coming from her mouth, like that from a corpse. My entire room was filled with the stench, and I was standing in front of her, trembling. A corpse had come alive and entered my house. I said to her, you have to go. You can't stay with me. Go away from here. Go away. She said, you didn't ask for that. You asked for me back, and I came back. Now I was terrified. What could I do? I thought, I made a mistake. I should have wished for Chloe to be alive. I just asked for her back, and her corpse came back, somewhat alive. I had to wish again. I said to Chloe, you have to hide under the bed. I sprayed all the perfumes in my room to eliminate the smell, but the stench wouldn't leave the room. The smell of a corpse is very strong, and now I had to deal with the trouble all day. By morning, the smell was still coming from the room, but I had opened the window and stuffed a cloth under the door so the smell wouldn't spread through the house. I couldn't open the door and give my mom an answer. Mom kept saying from outside, aren't you going to eat? I replied, no, I don't want to eat today. I want to fast. I want to start my exercise routine in a new way. I had a hard time convincing my mom. The mom kept saying, there's a bit of a smell coming from your room. I said, no. It's some stuff that fell. That's why it smells. The whole day was difficult, making my mom understand. The smell was going out through the window, making it a little easier to breathe, but since the smell was going outside, it would bother people, so I had to keep closing the window. The whole day passed. As soon as night fell, I was waiting to make a wish to the Santa. When night came, Chloe's voice started coming loudly from under the bed. Let me out of here. I don't want to stay here. I tolerated it during the day, but the night is mine. I'm already half dead. I have to get out of here. I kept trying to calm her down. Lower your voice. Lower your voice. Mom shouldn't hear. Dad shouldn't hear. We could get into trouble. She wanted to get out from under the bed, and I tried to pull her out. But as I pulled her wrist to get her out, her fingers broke off. As her fingers broke, I panicked. I was trembling and threw the fingers aside. I broke her fingers! How will I reattach them? I had to ask the Santa correctly. Only then could I do something. I had to wait until 12 o'clock. Chloe didn't want to wait. She had slipped out the window without me noticing. I tried to catch her from the window, but Chloe was angry. Look, I'm your friend, but you're keeping me locked up. I need to go out. I like to wander. I like to walk. I want to go to my home too. I came to you, but I need freedom too. The garden was very dark. Because of the cold, no one was outside, and I was trying to drag a corpse back to my house. She wasn't human anymore. I kept trying to pull her. Sometimes her hair would come off in my hands, sometimes her torn clothes. How could I stop her? I tried to pick her up and carry her, and I realized corpses are heavy. It took me 2 hours to drag her back inside through the same window. It was almost 12 o'clock, but she still wanted to escape through the window. I couldn't even close it because she could scream, which would cause more trouble for me. As soon as the clock struck 12, the music started playing from the Santa. I was happy. I no longer wanted to hold Chloe. I wanted to make a wish. I sat in front of the Santa and made a wish. Make Chloe exactly how she was before she died. Don't keep her half dead. After making this wish, I went to my bed and the music stopped. Now Chloe had slipped out the window again, and I ran outside to look for her. She must have returned to her previous body. But where did she go? I kept searching for her, looking around. But when I looked back, she had torn through the same window and gone back inside my room. From a distance, I couldn't see clearly, but why was she going back into that room? I ran and went inside through the window. She had opened the door and gone into my parents' room. When I reached there, I was shocked. Chloe was standing there looking in the mirror, and she was still in the form of a corpse. Her body hadn't become like a living human's. But when words came from her mouth, I got scared. It was my mom's soul in her body. What happened to me? I'm definitely her, but this is someone else's body. Where is my body? After that, my mom was standing in front of me, and inside my mom's body was Chloe's soul. What happened to my body? I'm hurt. I have a headache. What should I do? What should I do? Her voice was like that. And now it seemed like there were 2 corpses standing in front of me. My mom had also become a corpse, and Chloe, inside my mom's body, was also rotting. My mom's flesh was starting to decay too. My dad was looking at me asking, "What is happening? Who is this woman? And what's happening to your mom? What's wrong with her body?" I was crying, Dot. Now there were not 1, but 2 corpses in the house, and I kept trying to explain to my dad. Dad couldn't understand. Chloe was in my mom's body, and my mom's body was rotting because her soul had already left this world. Yet I had called her back, while Chloe's body was already decayed and smelly, and inside, it was my mom's soul. Dad was asking me, "What is happening?" Everyone was gathered in my bedroom, and I tried to explain to Dad. Tried to make Mom understand, but Mom's voice was getting heavier. Mom kept saying that she was starting to see strange things. Chloe, sitting inside my mom's body, was saying, "Why are you doing this to me? I remember. I'm already dead. I don't belong to this world. I belong to another world. Let me go." I tried to reassure Dad. "Tomorrow, I'll ask the Santa, and everything will be fixed. Chloe will be sent back to her world, and Mom will be back in her body." But getting through that night and the next day was very difficult. They were fighting with us. There were 2 corpses in the house. My mom's body was decaying, and Chloe's body was also there, inside Mom's body, making it a corpse. My mom's body was also starting to rot, and both souls were acting like ghosts, trying to bite us, trying to fight us, insisting on going outside. Somehow, with great difficulty, we managed to tie them up and get through the day. Dad was saying, "You have to fix everything. This is a huge mess now." The whole day passed, and the next night seemed to take forever. We had tied them up with thick ropes, with tape on their mouths, but the house stank terribly of corpses. Then it was close to 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock, the music started playing from the Santa. As soon as the music played, I wanted to sit in front of it, but Dad, in a hurry, sat in front of it and said, "Send this girl back to where she came from. Send her back right now." I was trying to explain to him, No, don't do that. We have to do what I say, change their bodies back." I was saying this, and Dad kept insisting on sending them back. We didn't even realize whose wish was granted. I had wished for the bodies to be changed. I had wished for the bodies to be swapped. And the bodies were swapped. Chloe's soul ended up in Dad's body, and my dad. "Who are you? How did I get here?" Then I saw my dad's soul was in my mom's body. My mom's soul was in her own body. Everything was very messed up. Now, it seemed like there were 3 corpses standing in front of me. I started scratching my head. What should I do? All 3 were acting like ghosts. It It seemed like there were 3 corpses in the house trying to bite each other. 2 bodies were already tied up, but Chloe's soul was in my dad's body, and my dad's body was very strong. It was troublesome to catch him. With great difficulty, I caught my dad and tried to tie him with a rope, but he wouldn't stay tied. I barely managed to lock him in the storeroom. Now all 3 were in the storeroom, with tape on their mouths, sitting like that. All 3 had their eyes rolled back, like ghosts tied up with ropes in front of me. Now I was thinking, what should I wish for? The whole night passed, and the next day was even more troublesome. We hadn't even eaten anything for 2 or 3 days. I was just getting by giving them water. Today, I cooked a little something, fed them, and ate myself. The corpses wouldn't eat, but I would remove the tape, put food in their mouths, and close the tape again. They would chew. Now what do I do? What do I do? I've caused such a big problem. That Santa is terrible because it doesn't grant simple wishes. It gives things in such a twisted way that you get into trouble. It doesn't make things easier. Now I thought about it all day. How will I fix this trouble? If I wish for their bodies to be completely fixed, the bodies will change on their own. Someone else will get a different body and more corpses will be created. There are 3 corpses here. These aren't living bodies. My body is the only living one. If it gets swapped with mine, what will I do? I won't be able to fix anything again. And if I try to bring them back to life and the bodies get swapped with the neighbors, there will be even more chaos. What should I do? Should I just leave them dead? I was crying. The whole day was passing with me crying. What could I do? I was in a huge mess. I had lost Chloe. I had lost my parents. Now, I had nothing left to lose. I was thinking, I should wish for something that fixes everything. What would that be? A wish that doesn't cause trouble but makes everything like it was before. What if I wish for everything to be like it was before? But these will just remain corpses. That won't happen. What should I wish for? What should I wish for? I thought about it all day, and by 12 o'clock at night, I had reached only one conclusion. The music started playing, and with my eyes open, I was wishing. I wish this Santa had never come to my house. I wish I had reached it before and never filled out the address on that website. I wish I had never asked for any Santa gift. When I made this wish, I went and sat on the bed, and as soon as the music stopped, there was a loud bang. My eyes closed, and a bright light fell. When I opened my eyes, everything in front of me had changed. The Santa gift wasn't there. My attention fell on the clock. The date shown was the same day I had gone out wandering. I looked at the bed. The laptop was there. The website was open, and I had filled in the name but hadn't written the address yet, and I hadn't erased it. I looked around. I immediately opened the door and went outside to my parents' room to check. They were both sleeping. I called out, "Mom!" My mom woke up and said, "What happened? Why are you shouting so late at night? If you want water, you can go to the kitchen and get it. You're a big boy now." After that, she went back to sleep. Dad was also saying, "Why do you keep waking us up at night? We shouldn't have given him the laptop." I was happy. I had fixed my parents. Maybe I had gone back to that very moment. Maybe the Santa had never come to me. Then I went to my room and deleted that website. I tore the pamphlet with my own hands and went outside to throw it away. I didn't want anyone to piece it together and know about that website. That Santa, the great mystical gift, shouldn't reach anyone. I was thinking about Chloe. I went out for a walk. As soon as I got there today, I was there by 7 a.m. As my attention fell forward, a man's wallet fell right in front of my eyes. It was an old man with a walking stick. I ran to him. I recognized that wallet. Wasn't that the same one? But that incident happened the day after I filled out the form. Today, everything was happening a day earlier. I picked up the wallet and was about to give it to the old man. He said, "Thank you so much. There's nothing special in it, just $1,000. I don't really need the money anyway. Actually, my wife gave me this wallet as a gift. You can keep 500 of it. It'll help you." I kept refusing, but he forcibly gave me $500. He left, And I stood there thinking, can this money cause me trouble or not? I tied it up in a shop. The whole day passed, and in the evening I looked for Chloe. I went to her house. I didn't want to let anyone know that anything had happened. From a distance I saw Chloe coming. She was alive. I was so happy then. I stood in front of her. She saw me and walked past. I didn't call out to her, and she didn't call out to me. I stood there, frozen. I had fixed everything, and now I felt that maybe I should keep some distance from Chloe. Who knows, I might drag her into trouble again. Just as I returned home in the evening, there was a letter at home. This letter was addressed to me. It had a picture of Santa on it, and I panicked. I don't want this again. I don't want this again. I opened the letter, and there was a special message for me. Your gift is the few days of foresight you have experienced. May your life be happy. Your Santa gift's purpose is fulfilled. Those were the only words. I was scared that evening. I hope no trouble comes. But it didn't. The next morning I woke up at 5 a.m. anyway. Now I didn't want to sleep much. At 5 o'clock I started doing house chores, and at 8 o'clock I went out for a walk. I knew what was going to happen in the future. Chloe was there for her walk, and her phone had fallen in the water. I went up to her and asked, what happened? She told me the same thing as before, and I said, let's walk together. We'll talk. After that, time passed just the same, and now I wasn't asking for any wishes. The future was going to happen exactly as before. She invited me to the party. I went there, and my friends tried to humiliate me, but seeing my smiling face, everyone just went quiet. I knew how they were going to bully me, what words they were going to use, and I had prepared for it in advance. Chloe was very impressed with how I was smiling, even while being insulted. But those words didn't hurt me. I was pained by the future. I took Chloe home myself and said, look, I might be a fool, but you shouldn't be sad. However good friends we became, I will always want the best for you, even though today was a bad day. And as she left, there was a smile on her face. And I said, I'll definitely call you once I get home, and promise me one thing, don't step out of the house. She also replied, of course, why would I step out of the house? I said, there was a party today. Maybe you're upset because of the humiliation, and you might step out. She said, no, I won't step out. And that night, I dropped her off at her home. When I got home, I called her. I didn't let her step out of the house, and in this way, I prevented the incident where Chloe would have died. And that Santa didn't exist anymore anyway. After that, my habit of being alone also changed, and now I never prefer to be alone. And I never sign up on any such dark web websites. Who knows what gift they might send and what might be hidden inside it. If you had received that Santa gift, what would you have done? Believe me, the gift that seems like a blessing sometimes becomes a curse.